Hello everybody, welcome back to another video with Lim Reviews. Now, today's video is going to be all about the BYD Atto 3. This is actually the first EV or electric vehicle that I've actually, been using for almost a week. So this is the longest time that I've spent with any EV in my entire life. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you a little bit of my experience after driving the BYD Atto 3. And today's video won't be so technical. I mean, I'm not really going to go into all the numbers, what kind of how much power it has, what's the weight and all that. All those numbers can be found on the website. But today's video, I want to share with you more of my personal experience, what I feel after driving this car. And I've got a couple of points on my phone here, so you might see me holding onto my phone. So we'll go through a couple of points here and let me just share with you a little bit more about this particular vehicle. Alright, so the first question that I actually have in my list here is all about whether the car is actually fast. So how fast is the BYD Atto 3? Well, just to explain to you in my layman terms, I did feel that the car is actually quite fast. Now the 0 to 100 is, the listed number is 7.2 seconds, and it's actually really seamless. There is only one gear for most electric vehicles. I'm sure you are already aware about that. But once you put your foot down to the pedal, the car just takes off immediately. So I wouldn't say it's super fast like a Tesla Model 3, which is something that I've actually tried on my friend's car. But this is actually a very seamless kind of pull, a pull that is definitely way more than enough for you to overtake almost any car that you can find here in Malaysia. So in Malaysia, our cars are not that quick on the road, but the BYD Atto 3 is definitely able to overtake very easily. So I noticed that from 60 kilometers per hour to 120, it happens very quickly. It's just a matter of seconds and you are up to speeds, almost breaking the speed limits already. So this is a car that can pick up and go off very quickly. Now, in terms of the top speed, some people might be wondering, because on the website it's listed as 160 kilometers per hour, but I noticed that this car was actually able to do higher than that. So I managed to reach about 170, and I think that's the maximum that this car can reach. So just to sum up, do I think the car is fast? Definitely yes. The car is very quick to accelerate. It can reach high speeds very quickly. And if you are like myself, you come from cars like Honda, Toyota, Mazda, you will definitely feel that this car is so fast. Alright, let's move on to the second point. How is the ride quality, comfort levels? Alright, so during my drive with this car, not just me but the passenger as well, we both felt that the car is actually super comfortable to be in. And I think this is actually attributed to the suspension, the tires and everything. It's a very smooth ride. Now, I often describe this to my friends, how I feel in the car is actually more like the car is gliding on the road. So you see a lot of cars these days, they are always focused on, refinement, getting a smoother ride. And I think the Atto 3 here really excels in that point because it's just so smooth, guys. Your phone screens, I always do my phone reviews, I talk about 120 Hz, buttery smooth. So that's what the kind of feeling that you get here. It's a buttery smooth drive whenever I am in the Atto 3, and I think that is really awesome. In case you're wondering about wind noise and all that, they do seem a bit more apparent at speeds of 150 to 160. So above 150, you will have some wind noise coming in through the windows, but I think that's completely fine and you shouldn't be speeding that much after all. Alright, so other than that, what else do I have here? Oh, the car itself is 1,750 kilograms, so that makes it a pretty heavy car. But again, when driving on the road, it does not seem like a heavy car at all. Right, so with that said, let's move on to my third point, how long does it take to charge the car? Now, these kind of electric vehicles, just like your smartphones, we have all kinds of fast charging, different levels of fast charging. So for your smartphone, for example, you may have 100 watts, 150 watts. Recently, Realme launched the 240 watts. So for this particular model right here, the fastest that you can take is 80 kilowatts, and it does 0 to 80% in 45 minutes. Now, to be honest with you, I've only charged the car once, and it was at BYD's showroom, so it was again fairly quick. But if you were to charge in other stations, you might need to take note of those charging speeds. There are charging stations that are higher than 80 kilowatts and those that are lower. And naturally, if you find something that is able to support 80 kilowatt, you will be able to get that fast charging speeds. Now, since I'm talking about charging, perhaps I should talk a bit about the range as well. So BYD is saying that this particular vehicle, the extended range model, is able to go all the way up to 480 kilometers on one single charge. Well, I think I was able to hit 450, so that makes it quite accurate as well. Alright, okay, so let's move on to the next point here. The fourth point that I want to talk about here is actually about what I really love about the car. So I have two final points, what I love and what I do not really like. Now, the things that I love about this car is actually, like I said, the seamlessness, the fast pickup speeds, and of course, it just feels so comfortable because it's gliding on the road. Everything looks fine. In fact, the design of the car, I quite like it as well. There is a couple of different colors. I think red is actually really attractive here because it really stands out from the crowd. So those are the things that I like: the ride, the comfort, the design, everything looks cool. Now, what about the things that I do not like? Well, let me just start off very quickly with the interior design. Now, the interior design is a very unique kind of look. I would say that some people love it, some people don't really like it. For me personally, I do like it at the first sight. So when I first saw the car, I felt that it was really cool. You know, it has all these very quirky kind of looks here. And I felt that the blue and white combo on the inside looks fantastic as well. But after driving the car for a bit more, this is where I realized that a part of the design of the car is more focused on design over function. So for instance, the aircon vents. Now those vents are able to tilt left and right, up and down, but I noticed that because it was situated so low in the middle, it couldn't really reach, my face. So at maximum, it was blowing against my neck. And I don't think I am a very tall person, so I'm 175. But I think, other people out there who are either my height or even taller than me might not be able to get the wind blowing at, their face. So that's just one thing. Other than that, voice control. Yes, you can actually give out voice commands, just like how we can see in most cars. And again, it's a bit quirky. Hi, BYD. Rotate screen.
Okay, rotating the screen.
Hi, BYD. Look for nearest coffee shop.
I found these. Which do you want?
The second one.
Sure, here is Delcom Coffee and Dangle.
Now, I wouldn't really blame the voice control because our Malaysian English is not that great, and more often than not, we tend to mispronounce certain words. So in that case, it is quite difficult to give out voice commands on the car, but if you have great English, I think that shouldn't be an issue. Alright, I think I just have one final thing that I did not really like about this car, and that is actually in terms of the tire spin that I was facing. Now, this is actually quite a serious matter, I would say, in my opinion, and it only applies to certain situations. So the tire spin, what do I mean by that? Well, if you actually put the car into sport mode, the car is actually crazy fast, guys. It's so fast, and when you just floor the pedal for the very first time, you might notice that there's quite a bit of a spin, and you might lose a little bit of control if you are not holding tightly to the steering wheel. So I think this is actually very important because if your father, let's say a 40, 50-year-old guy, just tries and floor the pedal. I'm not saying anything is wrong with that age. I'm just saying that you might need to be aware and be prepared to hold on to the steering wheel tighter because there might be a bit of a twist and turn and you might get a little bit shocked about that. So I guess the tires maybe, I'm not sure if it's the tires or the wheels, could have used a little bit more grip to ensure like whenever you just floor the pedal at sport mode, you get a proper pull away without any kind of tire spin. So that's one thing about the tires. I also noticed that the tires were particularly noisy in my basement where I parked the car, and the floor is not like the terrain that we have on this kind of tarred ground. It is actually like a smoother ground, so there's a lot of squeaking here and there, but I did not have that kind of tire squeaking on my other car. So just quite puzzled about that. Anyways, those are just a little bit of, like I said, things that I did not really like, which is not really a huge deal breaker. At the end of the day, this car is, I think, 168k plus-ish, a little bit here in Malaysia. So it's definitely not a very cheap car. It's not a very affordable car for everyone as well. But I think, for electric vehicles coming to Malaysia, it's definitely fun to see this kind of cars arriving here, especially for people like myself who barely get the chance to drive an EV. I think you should definitely go and check it out. If you're looking for a car that is like super seamless, you know, it's so comfortable, the ride comfort is awesome, and a car that pulls off and overtakes extremely easily, this is definitely a car that you should check out. Other than that, again, if you want to find out all about those technical specifications, safety features, yada yada, you can just go to byd.com and literally check out on the website. The brochure there is probably more informative than anything that I can tell you in front of the camera right now. With that said, thank you for watching today's video. It's getting really hot here. Let's go head inside. Don't forget to drop a like and sub to the channel if you want to see more content like this. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Stay safe, everybody. Bye. Yeah, we are literally going off right now. Okay, bye camera.